In France, he cried. The usurper in France! Then they did not watch over this man. Who knows? They were perhaps in league with him. Oh, sire, exclaimed the Duc de Blacas, Monsieur d'André is not a man to be accused of treason. Sire, we all have been blind, and the Minister of Police has shared the general blindness, that is all. But, said Villefort, then suddenly checking himself, he was silent. Then he continued, Your pardon, sire, he said, bowing. My zeal carried me away. Will your majesty deign to excuse me? Speak, sir, speak boldly, replied Louis. You alone forewarned us of the evil. Now try to aid us with the remedy. Sire, said Villefort, the usurper is detested in the south, and it seems to me that if he ventured into the south, it would be easy to raise Languedoc and Provence against him. Advancing? He is advancing, said Louis Douit. Is he then advancing on Paris? The Minister of Police maintained a silence which was equivalent to a complete avowal. And Dauphiné, sir, inquired the king of Villefort, do you think it is possible to rouse that as well as Provence? Sire, I am sorry to tell your majesty a cruel fact, but the feeling in Dauphiné is quite the reverse of that in Provence or Languedoc. The mountaineers are Bonapartists, sire. Then, murmured Louis, he was well informed. And how many men had he with him? I do not know, sire, answered the Minister of Police. What? You do not know? Have you neglected to obtain information on that point? Of course, it is of no consequence, he added with a withering smile. Sire, it was impossible to learn. The dispatch simply stated the fact of the landing and the route taken by the usurper. Villefort just making a bold move here. It might have seemed a little subtle to y'all, but okay, let's just put this into context here. We've got kind of interdepartmental tensions and struggles here between Blacas, d'André, and the king. They both report directly to the king. The king is not happy with the process of information gathering of d'André. Blacas is trying to stick up for d'André, saying that we've all been blind and we just share in that blindness. As all of this is going on, Villefort, with his brass balls, just decides to speak up. And, he does so meekly. I think, again, we talked about in the introduction to him, it's a little performative. He performs it meekly, but he knows exactly what kind of power move he's making by stepping in and saying, yeah, okay, I've got some more information here that you might, want to know. He's coming into the South, and, that might not be super easy for him. We might be able to raise some resistance against him. But if he's advancing, then, I have to speak the truth to you. Like, he's gonna get the mountain men together. They're all Bonapartists, and they're gonna come raise some rabble. That's what it's looking like, and you need to be prepared for that. So Villefort is just positioning himself. He's proving himself through behavior in this, in front of the king, that is really revealing of his character. And it is, I don't know how, he's shaping up to be complex and interesting to follow, but as far as, he's got to be the villain, right? Like, he's got to be the main ass villain against Dante. Like, when Dante escapes, should he escape? I'm assuming he escapes. What else are we doing here? if Dante just, languishes in prison for the rest of this book. But we talked about exacting revenge. He's got to, there's, if you think of action films, you've got the main bad guy, right? But then you usually have one or two, key henchmen underneath the bad guy. And those guys, they usually get the hand-to-hand fight, the hand-to-hand combat, and, it's a prolonged fight, but it's not nearly as much of a comeuppance as the main villain. I think that Danglars, Fernand, maybe Caderousse to a degree, are going to be those main henchmen that have the 1844 equivalent of a fist fight to the death. But Villefort is shaping up to become that head villain who not only needs to be taken down, but needs to receive a fitting comeuppance for everything he's done to put him in the position that he's in. Well, let's continue more as Villefort is cozying up to the king, potentially to position himself in a place against Bonaparte in the coming conflict. I'm assuming there's a conflict coming, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to continue reading. I'll see you here tomorrow. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.